Hello and welcome to the last chapter summary of the semester. Yay! This is a summary of chapter 25 of the legal environment of business. Chapter 25 talks about the laws of debtor and creditor relations and consumer protection. The first thing that the book covers are just some generic terms. The first one being creditor, which is the lender in the transaction. Then it goes to debtor, which is the borrower in the transaction. You kind of have to have both in order to get a transaction. And a lien, which is the claim on the debtor's property that must be satisfied before any creditor can make a claim against them. The book then moves on to cover bankruptcy. And the goal of bankruptcy actually has 4 parts to it, which they are to bring about the equitable distribution of the debtor's property among the debtor's creditors, or how to equally spread what the debtor owns to the people that he or she would owe the money to. To discharge the creditor from its debits, enabling the creditor to rehabilitate itself and start fresh. Take care of the debts so that the debtor no longer has them and it's not a weight over their head. To preserve ongoing business relations and to stabilize commercial uses. Because there are so many bankruptcy claims that have to go through a court, there are specialized courts for bankruptcy, which I never knew existed. So, wow. There are 2 different types of bankruptcy petitions. One is voluntary and one is involuntary, which is kind of self-explanatory. There are different chapters of bankruptcy that are chapters 7, 13, 11, and 12. And then there was a new bankruptcy law passed in 2011. So, Chapter 7, bankruptcy, is just straight bankruptcy, in which the debtor turns all of their property or assets over to a trustee, and then the trustee deals with paying the creditors. After 2005, a new law was passed that really did 2 things. It denied Chapter 7 discharge to debtors who have the means to pay some of their unsecured debts from earnings following the filing of the petition of bankruptcy. And it steers most of the Chapter 7 bankruptcies over to Chapter 13 instead. The Chapter 13 is also known as the Wage Earners Plan, in which the debtor gives the creditor a portion of their earnings until the debt is paid off. Chapter 11 is aimed for businesses, and the businesses can actually use the Chapter 11 bankruptcy to restructure their company, which I actually found was quite interesting. And it allows the company to function while getting rid of some of their debts, which then leaves Chapter 12, which is reserved for family farmers and family fishermen. To qualify for that is you or your spouse have to make the majority of their money from either farming or fishing. The new bankruptcy law of 2011 was more along the lines of actually amending the 2005 Act than a whole new law. So this has been a chapter summary of Chapter 25 in the legal environment of business.